Hello, you're watching News Mongolian MNB World. I'm your host, Ayundatur Basenko. Our top stories. ADB partnership with Mongolia to focus on recovery from COVID-19 for inclusive and sustainable growth. United States provides 50 ventilator test lungs for the treatment of severely ill patients. Speaker of Parliament of Mongolia G.Zandanshatar meets Chairman of the Lower House of Parliament of the Republic of India. For other news, stay tuned. September 10th is a day for remembering the victims of political repression in Mongolia. On this day, President of Mongolia Hursuluk laid wreaths to the monument for the victims of political repression, along with Parliament Speaker G.Zandanshatar and Prime Minister Ayungerten. Some members of the Parliament, representatives of political parties, government and non-governmental institutions, and citizens were also present to pay their respect and lay wreaths. The Speaker of the Mongolian Parliament, G.Zandanshatar, attending the 5th World Conference of Speakers of Parliament, met with Omberla, Chairman of the Lower House of the Parliament of the Republic of India, known as Lok Sabha, in Vienna and exchanged views on bilateral relations and cooperation.
The Mongolian speaker noted that India is the strategic partner and spiritual neighbor of Mongolia and highlighted the importance of intensive interparliamentary cooperation to expand friendly relations in all the fields, including the economy, education, and culture. The Mongolian speaker also notes the parties were actively cooperating in successful implementation of the joint oil refinery project and asked to support coking oil exports and pilot transportation shortly. Lok Sabha Chairman Omberla expressed his support for the effective and efficient implementation of the joint project between the two countries and invited Mongolian speaker to visit India at his convenience. During the meeting, the sides exchanged the views on regional security, the current state of the COVID-19 pandemic, and other issues multilateral cooperation.
The Asian Development Bank has launched a new country partnership strategy for Mongolia covering 2021 to 2024 to help the country recover from the COVID-19 pandemic and lay resilient foundations for inclusive and sustainable growth.
The ADB's operations in Mongolia over the 4 years will focus on 3 strategic priorities: inclusive social development and economic opportunity, climate-resilient infrastructure, and sustainable green and climate-conscious development.
Mongolia has made major strides in its development journey over the last 30 years. The country's economy has expanded more than tenfold. Social and human development have seen marked improvements, and it is now better integrated into regional and world markets. We are very pleased to say that ADB has been a proud partner and has played a key role in supporting these developments. We will be working hard to facilitate private sector participation, strengthening institutional capacity of governance, deepening engagement with civil society, boosting digitization, and enhancing gender equality. Developing policy-relevant knowledge solutions is also a key feature in the document, and we will continue our efforts to ensure that our knowledge products provide practical solutions and policy recommendations for Mongolia.
Under the first strategic priority, ADB will support Mongolia in helping those affected by the COVID-19 crisis. On the second strategic priority, it will make significant investments in transport and connectivity to help increase competitiveness in Mongolia. These will reduce congestion in Ulaanbaatar as well as create sustainable development opportunities in rural areas. In addition, ADB will strengthen resilience, including macroeconomic resilience, and ensure the sustainable use of resources and green development. It will work closely with the government to meet Mongolia's nationally determined contributions on climate change and secure a greener future for Mongolia, in particular through a gradual shift away from coal and adoption of better livestock practices. The country partnership strategy is aligned with Mongolia's Vision 2050 and the government action plan.
The Ministry of Health and the National Center for Communicable Diseases provides the latest updates on COVID-19 situation in Mongolia. On Friday, 2009 new cases of COVID-19 were confirmed nationwide and 15 people have died of complications. 4,168 people have recovered and currently infected people are undergoing treatments at hospitals and at home. Thank you for staying tuned with us. Now let's take a look at Mongolia's current affairs.
The United States, through the United States Agency for International Development, provided 50 ventilator test launch for training medical personnel and ventilator calibration to support the government of Mongolia's efforts to fight the COVID-19 pandemic. These test launches complement USAID's critical care training for medical staff treating severely ill patients. In cooperation with the Ministry of Health, we are providing critical care training for severely ill patients. These test launches will complement USAID's critical care training for medical staff treating severely ill patients, which is jointly designed and implemented by top physicians from both Mongolia and the United States, said Deputy Chief of Mission Gregory May.
The ambassador of Mongolia to the Russian Federation, Dava, met with the chairman of the Presidential Executive Office Press Secretary Dmitry Peskov on September 8 at the embassy. During the meeting, the sides exchanged the views on the implementation of the joint plan to celebrate the 100th anniversary of establishment of diplomatic relations between Mongolia and Russia, including the possibility of high-level visits. In recognition of his contribution to the development of cooperation between the two countries, Ambassador Dava awarded the chairman of Presidential Executive Office Press Secretary Dmitry Peskov with the Order of Polar Star by the decree of the President of Mongolia.
Now let's take a look at our next story. A fossilized forest is a group of preserved tree stumps found in or near where the trees stood. As with other fossils, they reveal details about the water and soil in which the trees grew. The Tales of Fossilized Forest exhibition is being displayed at the National Museum of History, and it will remain on display until September 13th.
These exhibits are all from the fossilized forest remnants at Sukhen Mountain in Mandaksum of Torngar province. Chemist and mineralogist Gongorjao has been studying fossils of a special size, structure, and among cave paintings. He has discovered various types of wall, cave paintings, and inscriptions on them.
When I was studying different types of rocks and fossils, I would often find Ugurjin scripts. I opened this exhibition in order to convey my belief that humans created their first scripts after having observed and studied nature. For instance, rocks, they have unique lines and stripes.
Around this region at the Sukhen Mountain in Mandaksum of Torngar, there was once a forest about 140 to 150 million years ago, and it was turned out into fossilized forest over millions of years. Unfortunately, many of the remnants have been stolen by greedy people, and only 0.5 hectare is left. That's why Gongorjao has exhibited some of the valuable fossils from the forest to raise awareness and to encourage the public to cherish nature.
I wish people wouldn't steal from this forest at Sukhen Mountain. Every little part, even a single grain of dust of this place is priceless. We really hope that future generations will understand it. All of these artworks created by nature should be preserved and never should be damaged. It is wonderful that this exhibition has been set up in order to help the public understand the value of these exhibits.
The exhibition will be open to the public until September 13th.
Now let's look at the currency exchange rates provided by Mongol Bank. Amr Tufshing, one of the best judokas in Mongolia today, has left for Germany. The 33-year-old will be a member of Bundesliga's Hamburg judo team in under 60 kilograms weight category.
Amr Tufshing wrote on his Facebook page, "I have been invited to represent Hamburg in the German Bundesliga at 60 kg category. I would like to express my gratitude to the Mongolian Judo Federation, the national team, the coaches, the Hilton Sports Committee of the Custom Service, Narmandel Company and all of my friends and relatives for their support." The German Judo Bundesliga has two men's divisions, and Hamburg has won the top division 4 times. Amr Tufshing is not the only Hamburg 60 kg weight category judoka. He will face Marit Flaki of Germany, Turan Bayramov of Azerbaijan, Otar Bistai for Kyrgyzstan, Brandon Chen of the United States, Luhumi Chvitami of Georgia, Shahavat Hajiev of Russia and Kirill Somatog of Ukraine. The German Judo Bundesliga dates back to 1956 and the men's first division is divided into 16 teams, north and south. At the end of the season, the bottom 2 teams are relegated to the second division and 4 teams, 2 from each group, will compete for the title. Amartuvshin lost in the first round of the Tokyo Olympics to Thornike Tsiakado of the Netherlands. Amartuvshin won a silver medal at the 2013 World Judo Championships, 3 bronze medals at the 2016, 2017 and 2018 World Masters, 8 medals at the Grand Slam, 17 medals at the Grand Prix and a bronze medal at the 2011 World Sambo Championships.
And now here's the weather forecast for major cities around the world. Well, that's it for today. Thank you for staying with us on News Mongolia. See you next week with more stories and updates. Please follow MNB World on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter and Instagram. Have a great weekend. Goodbye.